We're talking credit card and debt, and we are back with Credit Card Insider Senior Analyst Nathan Grant, and he's answering your questions. All right, so this person is asking, is there any advantage to canceling a credit card that is not in use?
So a lot of times you pay off a credit card and you think, I just want to cancel it and be done with it. But that actually might negatively impact your credit scores because unless you're really afraid that you're going to use that credit card irresponsibly and you want to just be done with it, or if there's an annual fee to keep the card open, it's usually a good idea to keep the card open because one of the factors that goes into your credit scores is the average age of your account. So if you have a card with good history that you paid down, it's a good idea to keep it on there. And also it'll overall increase your total credit limits available. And the percentage of credit being used is a factor that goes into your scores as well. So if you're only using a little bit of your overall credit limits because you have a card that's paid off, it actually could benefit you as well. So it's something you want to think about before closing for sure.
This person is asking, is it safer to use a credit card instead of your debit card?
It's actually much safer to use your credit card than a debit card, as long as you're paying it off and not just building up a bunch of balance. There's all these federal protections that come with credit cards that aren't covered with debit cards, and also debit cards are your own money from your bank account on the line. So God forbid something does happen and you become a victim of credit card fraud or a scam or something, you can easily contact your issuer. They will cancel the payment, undo it, and it's their money on the line, so they'll take care of it because of all those federal protections. It's your debit card, it might be something that takes weeks to get money back in your account, and that could affect other things that you have to use your money for.
Right, the other bills that you need to pay. All right, this person is asking, what are some strategies to lower your interest rate if you do have a card with a high interest? Is it something where you can call them and try and get them to lower that interest rate?
Yeah, if you've been a responsible borrower and you've been paying on your debt regularly and getting your balances down, and you want to try to lower the percentages going forward, you could contact your issuer and see if they could adjust it. But a lot of that does have to do with your credit scores when you apply and the different cards from the different issuers as well. So it's one of those factors that is kind of hard to predict ahead of time. But there's definitely things you can do, and that's one of those reasons why you might want to look into a balance transfer card to take care of some of that debt from those cards that have high interest rates. But if you pay your balance in full every month anyway, you're not even have to worry about interest, even if you do have a card with a high APR.
Okay. This person says, I just can't get my mom to open a credit card with cash back options or perks. Is there really any reason to have or use a card that doesn't do anything else for you?
Well, you definitely want to reap some of the benefits of credit cards, even if it's not something that a balance transfer card offers. Most popular things are usually rewards like cash back or points on purchases that you make every day. So that could be a retail store card at a place that you shop, or even an online retailer like Amazon.com or something like that. Might be in your best interest to get a card that is giving you, every purchase you make, you're getting something back. But then obviously travel is something that not as many people are doing right now, but there are credit cards that are good for travelers, and they give you lots of benefits beyond just points and miles, such as getting in line quicker and stuff like that. And so it's really just dependent on the individual and what they're looking for. If you shop at restaurants a lot, there's a lot of restaurant cards. If you're a student, there's student credit cards. So it's not always I shouldn't even get one. It just might be the right one for you is out there.
Mm-hmm. And if mom has a credit card that her APR is, under 4 or 5% or something like that, and all the other perk cards are higher interest rate, well, maybe mom doesn't need that. Who knows? Okay, this person is asking, will your interest rate on a card be less if you have a good credit score?
Generally, it's dependent on when you apply for the card, what your credit scores are when you apply, because credit cards in general, it's borrowed money. So all the things in terms of your interest rate and stuff, those are predetermined when you apply and go through the approval process. So if you have good credit scores, basically the better your credit scores, the better chances you're going to be able to get those lower rates. And that's why it's so important to be a responsible borrower, to improve your scores over time. So you just, in the future, will be able to secure better rates on not just credit cards, but things like mortgages, vehicles and stuff as well. So very important.
All right, this person says, you just mentioned student credit cards. Should college students avoid all those sign up for a card, get a pizza, like while they're at school? Should they even have a credit card?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, a benefit like that doesn't seem totally great. But there's, for students that study abroad, there's cards with no foreign transaction fees, which could add up if you're using a credit card abroad. But then there's, those rewards I talked about. Student credit cards often give you cash back on those things that they would be, like school supplies or art supplies. And it's obviously dependent on the card, but different cards offer those kinds of benefits. So that's why it's very important to just do the research and not just apply to a card on a whim. Like, I'm at the register and they offered it, maybe I'll get it to get this one discount. But if it's a discount over time, that's something that might be more beneficial to you.
All right, we have about 1 minute left. Can you talk about why it's important, though, for a college student to have a credit card?
Well, if they're not going to be responsible with it, then it could actually get them in trouble. But if you're paying your balances every month, and it's on purchases that, you're going to have to make purchases while you're in college. So it definitely is a wise idea if you don't have much credit, because building credit is so important. You want to be able to, when you get out of college, be able to have a solid credit foundation for those important things like places to live, vehicles, insurance, even cell phone contracts. They can be dependent on your credit scores. So it's important to take those years that you can be responsible ahead of time to get a leg up on, so you're not coming out of college and going, oh, I should have been building up my credit scores over the years.
Right, because it's hard to then be the adult, right, when you don't have any kind of credit to be able to get a loan for the things that you want. All right, Nathan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. For those of you who just joined us, you might have had your question answered in the first segment. We're going to be putting that on WFMYnews2.com.